Welcome to another episode of Preparing for the Unexpected. I'm your host, Alex Fullick, and as always, we like to talk about things related to disaster recovery, emergency management, business continuity, COVID, well being, resilience, anything that's relatable to those topics, and anything that helps you, your organization, or your community prepare for, plan for, respond to, and overcome adverse situations. Speaking of topics, if there is something you'd like us to talk about on the show or you'd like to be a guest, please feel free, reach out through LinkedIn. I am the only Alex Fullick on there, so I'm easy to find. Just send along your message, and I do respond to everything that I get, and we'll see about getting you on the show. A couple of other quick announcements. I'll be speaking at three conferences in the fall here in 2021, so hopefully can be on site for these. October 4th and 5th, the Continuity Insights Conference in Minneapolis. November 3rd and 4th, BCI World Virtual.
Oh,
And Continuity and Resilience Today Conference in Toronto, December 1st and 2nd. Now, that one I really hope I should be able to be on site because it's only an hour, hour and a half away from me. So, fingers crossed on that one. Now, today we're going to talk about emotional impact assessment because my guest has already been on the show twice, and we talked about work from home. And the second topic was from risk and BCM to resilience. So I'd like to welcome back to the show today, Daman Sood. Daman, welcome back.
thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
All well, thank you.
Wonderful. Now, just in case there's somebody out there who didn't pay attention to the last two videos, can you take a minute or two to talk about yourself?
Oh, thanks. 35 years in the industry, 16 years in resilience domains, which would be organizational resilience, BCM, crisis, and risks. That's all that I know. Four areas. That's all I know. And currently a trainer and consultant, but along with that, auditor, tester, assessor, author, speaker. I have been a practitioner myself, so I have dirty
Trainer.
my
Don't forget
trainer.
trainer. Trainer.
Trainer. Yes, thank you very much. And currently, the passion is organizational resilience.
Now, I jumped in trainer because I took Daman's training course. What would it be? A
Thank you.
week and a half, week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah, great course. And check out Daman's website, and you can get more information on the training course. But really good,
Thank
I
you.
recommend it.
Thank you very much.
Now, great to have you back for a third time, Daman. Even though it feels like you've been back more often because of the training course that we've done lots more talking. Now,
Yes.
today we're going to talk about emotional impact assessment. Let's start off with an easy question. What is an emotional impact assessment?
Thanks. And this one may be a little long, Alex.
Oh, that's okay.
In short, it will be EIA,
Okay.
and many people may relate it to ISO 14001, where it is called environmental impact assessment. Many of us may think of BIA. In BCM, we conduct impact assessment, but this EIA is emotional impact assessment, and it's different from both of those. And let's first attempt to understand that difference. The EIA, environmental impact assessment, it's an impact assessment, but when the process has been running, the EIA of ISO 14001, the impact of that process being run. In BCM, its impact of that process being down. And here we are talking of emotional impact assessment. When the process is running, most likely in the recovery mode after a big disaster or crisis has happened. And my links with emotional impact assessment go back to perhaps 9/11 or a couple of
Mhm.
years after that. So it's a story. A husband wife used to see those towers every day from their window. On that day, the wife knew that the husband had to be in one of the towers for a meeting. And by chance, she saw the first plane hitting the tower live from her window. Guess what's next? Just this thought that the husband would have been in the tower, she went mad for 5 years. This case is not even registered anywhere. And there would be many cases, such cases, I believe,
Hmm.
not recorded anywhere because they were not in the towers or not directly impacted. Husband, luckily, meeting got cancelled due to whatever reason and came back home happy, healthy. But it took 5 years for wife to recover. We would have seen an experience. We would have gone through an experience. I'm sure you would have gone driving on a highway, and you would see in front of you an animal crushed by another vehicle already. What happens to you? What happens to us? My hands shake, even if it's animal, and even if it has been crushed already by some vehicle.
Hmm.
What if it was a human being? What if it was a friend, family member, colleague? And what if not dead yet, but dying? I can't perhaps explain. My hand goes on heart, and there is some feeling which I cannot explain. This is what I mean by emotional impact assessment. We may be working, I'm driving.
Hmm.
During COVID-19 pandemic, we were working from home. We were working in recovery mode or in continuity mode. But what emotions were we going through? Perhaps this has not been looked into yet by anyone. So that's what my attempt is, that I bring up this topic. It's new topic for me also. This is, in short, I would say, well, I said it would be long, but this is what I mean by emotional impact assessment or its necessity today.
Yeah, as you were talking with the example with the tower and yourself having seen, you know, some situations, I recalled an incident when I was about 6 years old, and I was
Okay,
still a little boy in England because that's where I'm from,
right.
and watching across the street some bus. It was the bus station. A bus pulled up. A lady got off the bus and ran towards where I was with my mom and my dad, and at the time only one of my brothers. And she didn't pay attention to the traffic, and she was hit by a car, and she landed right in front of me, and I can still see that to this day. I still picture it, and when I see an accident, I do have a quick glimpse of that. You know,
Right.
it can be, it can be traumatizing.
I can understand. Yes. Yes.
So
So
go
similarly,
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead. No, finish your thought.
So we all, either for COVID-19 pandemic, I'm naming this again and again perhaps because this is the latest one. This is perhaps the longest, biggest, most impacting crisis that we all have seen in our lifetimes. So it may keep coming again and again and again whenever we talk of BCM risk or crisis, etc. We would have done financial impact assessment. We would have done a reputational impact assessment or legal or operational impact assessment, but this emotional impact assessment not done. People said, any company, every company. I'm not saying anyone, my company or your company. We both have been freelancers now, but we were in corporate world, and there are so many people still in the corporate world. The ones start working from home. That's it. Right? Did they even think whether it is one, two, three, or five people to work from home? What is the situation at home? And then when we started, what were we going through? We know there have been reports that number of violences, home violences have gone up. Number of divorces have gone up. People are seeking more. Uh, People are seeking more counseling sessions, which means work from home is a solution, but there is some pain also. And this pain is this emotions related pain, not necessarily a physical pain, and not necessarily it is visible. I'm
Right.
not an expert in psychology, human psychology, but I claim that I understand it a lot. But I understand people, I have heard some of those experts, counselors, including up to doctorates also in this field, who would say The one not necessarily it would be visible on your face that you are stressed. A
Not
people may person may
necessarily.
be smiling, a person
Yeah,
may be smiling, but he or she may be stressed internally.
that's right. It doesn't always show on a person's face.
Yes. And some of us do very well
Yeah. It's-
hiding it,
Or
holding it.
exactly. And I was just going to say that some of us do very well at hiding it.
Yes.
So is it fair to say, 'cause you mentioned the BIAs and a couple of other assessments, being process focused, whether they're up or whether they're down, that the EIA is people focused.
Yes, it is people focus. I
So,
have been saying this all my life,
mhm,
whether BCM or crisis or risk, and we can add perhaps few more in these in this line. It's all about people. Switching off, switching on, building an IT is easy. That's the easiest portion in life, IT and facilities or buildings.
mhm.
We people are the most difficult portion because we
Well,
can't switch off and switch on people.
to quote somebody I know, and I won't say who, resilient people make resilient organizations.
Thank you very much.
I wonder who said that. So
Thank you.
if it's people, if the EIA is people focused, why is it so important then?
Importance, I believe, in the same discussion that we already have just when I was attempting to explain why I believe or what emotional impact assessment is. Answer that once again, people make organizations. And today we are looking at making a resilient organizations. So we need to make people resilient. If you are not looking into inside me, if you are not, it may be physical, it may be emotional. Physical may still be visible, and sometimes even physical is not visible. My own example, about 5 years ago, when we were doing all the trainings in physical rooms, I'm a person who never sits. I'm standing and I go deep into the audience. I keep walking. And people wouldn't realize there was any difference in Daman in last 20 years, in last 5 years. But I knew that I had pain in my knees. Walking, no challenge. But if I would be going down the stairs, I'll be bad pain. So I was physically challenged, but no one would see it. No one would realize it. Only I would. So someone needs to go deep into me to see these emotions, what is happening with me. It may be work related, it may be personal, it may be some other person, it may not be family, it may be friend, it
Mhm,
may be a relative, it could be a neighbor also. That neighbor is sick and I'm disturbed with all of that.
mhm.
So this is why I'm saying it would have direct impact upon our productivity as well as quality. So I'm saying quality as well as quantity of the work. That's why it is so important, according to me, to look into this aspect, which questionably or arguably has been ignored so far.
It's
Example, I'll quickly, sorry.
I was going to say it's interesting that you say that because a lot of people, when they talk about business continuity and resilience, et cetera, they always say that, oh, it's about people, it's about people. Yet when a business impact assessment or a review is performed, it's even when they talk about people, it's how those people relate to a process,
Yes,
and the equipment they have with the process, not the person inside, the well-being of the person. That part
right,
always seems to be left out. So it's
right,
interesting that you've got a different take on that now with this.
right. I'll just add a little bit that I'm not putting question mark or big question mark on the whole world, all organizations, because today, listening to our chat, whenever they get it in couple of weeks, someone would say, "No, this is not right for my organization." Yes, exceptions are always there, and I know already, even while we are two are talking, some people have come back. Daman, we already have this, some counseling happening, but it didn't happen March last year, February last year, and for about 6 or 9 months. So some improvements have started happening, but a lot still needs to be done. And it's not just providing a counselor to me. I'm still saying we need to go deep to look the overall impact. That's why this name emotional impact assessment. And I'm sure this is not new term. There would be people
Mhm.
who might have done even a doctorate, might have written theses and and books on this topic. But to most of us, I would say the professionals, it sounds to be new.
Well, I know I've got a bunch of other questions, so I'm going to take a break now because we've come to the end of our first segment, and then we'll start getting into some of the, as we say, the meat and potatoes of the emotional impact assessment. Today, we're talking with Daman Sood. We're talking about emotional impact assessment, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Today, we are talking once again with Daman Sood, and we are talking about emotional impact assessment. Daman, I'm really looking forward to hearing some of the answers to the stuff that we're going to talk about now. But first of all, with because we talk about a lot about business continuity management and incident managers and that that profession and those professionals, when it comes to an EIA, the emotional impact assessment, who should be performing that?
Difficult one, Alex, to answer as of now.
Mm,
I'm admitting that this is new to me also. Right? So I have not conducted an emotional impact assessment yet. But as we are saying, it's people emotions. It seems it would be HR for sure.
mhm,
It may be more than that. I'm just launching in a couple of days a global survey around emotional impact assessment. And my target is to have 1,000 responses from different countries. And maybe in a month, we need to sit again. I'll be happy to come back and share those results with
yeah,
you.
we'll talk
So,
about the
as of
results.
now, it's me who is conducting, but this is not the real emotional impact assessment, I believe. This is a survey I'm attempting. Based on that, we may be able to do a little more in this direction. So, conducted by someone, it seems HR for sure, maybe a couple of other people, especially if I'm looking at this survey, well, I'm still calling it emotional impact assessment. So, there has to be someone who understands people very well. There has to be someone who is good at stats because we are collecting a lot of data. So we need to be doing analysis and someone who is good at reporting. It could be one person having all these difficult according to me.
Mhm,
So a couple of people involved in this. I do not feel this is going to be another category in BIA where we do financial, non-financial, reputational, legal, operational impact. There are different categories.
yeah.
I don't believe as of now that it's going to be another category in that BIA. So it's going to be an additional activity over and above BIA in BCM that we had been conducting.
But the result, I'm thinking here, the results could help with what comes out of the BIA, how to execute and implement and validate some of this
It
stuff. You can
will,
have all these documented plans, and as I said mentioned during the break, but if the people aren't there because they're traumatized about an event or they're still struggling with COVID, either during COVID or post COVID, um, it doesn't matter how good your plan is.
yes,
We haven't
exactly,
done an assessment on
exactly.
how they are.
So what I'm saying is the question could be, so Daman, why should we be doing this? What is the benefit of conducting emotional
Mhm,
impact assessment? So I believe organizations will be able to take informed decisions. Last year, as I said, no one asked me, Daman, whether we'll be happy working from home or not. And even after some time gone, Daman, are you happy working from home or not? And I accept, I admit that organizations or employers didn't have a choice. Tomorrow, you start working from home because office is locked down. It happened like that. But we look for improvement. That's why we are having these discussions today. So I'm
mhm,
saying organizations will be able to take informed decisions. That's first. Second is the same point that we both agree it's all about people. That people, the employees will feel good that they have been involved in a decision. That we work from home or whether we go back to office or whether we do 30 70 70 30 50 50 hybrid, I was part of the decision. Someone asked me, so I've been taken care of. That's best according to me. When people are happy, they are more productive, and the quality also goes up. It may fall under HR, that as we discussed, but many people may be involved. A statistician, analyst, sorry, and someone who's good at writing report. As of now, I don't even understand what kind type of report would come out.
Yeah.
But from survey, I may be able to have little more on that in this direction.
Well, it's like a BIA report. There's no standard for that. So, I
Yep,
think I think a report for an EIA would probably be dependent on the organization itself and its culture and how you present
culture is very
information.
important. Culture is very important. Yes.
So before we, because we're gonna, I know, come back to some of that, the output. What kind of questions go into an EIA? What are you asking people, and what are you hoping to get out of it?
If you allow me to share my
Sure,
screen, I would like to show
you
a couple
have
of things.
you have the
Topic
capability.
is new. Yes, topic is new.
Hmm.
So even in my mind, it's not concrete. But first of all, I would like to say if people search for PMC 7568491, they may be able to find a report from the government of US. I could see that was quite close to something called emotional impact assessment. What type kind of questions? Again, a real emotional impact assessment happening in an organization. I'm not sure as of now, but I'm happy to share questions that I have built in for this survey that I'm going to be launching in a day or two. So that's what I was attempting to. Sure. I got more worried about my finances. So the focus is last 18 months or so, whether it was phase one or phase two or phase three of COVID-19 in your particular country, think of that worst period and then answer such questions. I was more anxious about my future. I found it difficult to concentrate on any task, which could be personal or official. Question on productivity, which we discussed earlier also as a recollect. Many organizations have claimed productivity went up while working from home. I have serious doubts about that. My output increased because I was working not 8 hours anymore. I was working 10, 14, 15, 16 hours. So
I,
that's why I'm asking this question. Yes, please.
and I think that's something that organizational leadership misinterprets. Just because you're online for 10 hours
Yes.
doesn't mean you're productive. It could, your 10 hours could be spent in meetings and you're actually getting nothing done. You're just attending meetings. That's not being productive.
Right. And then the linked questions is the next one. I had to work extra hours to maintain. I'm not saying doing extra to maintain my output because maybe there was something wrong inside. There were disturbances at home, different types of disturbances. And again, we have talked about all those already, so I'm not repeating.
Hmm.
More worried about my personal health and safety. So there are questions about myself, questions about family, questions about rest of the society also. Some people in my surveys, I've done about 68 surveys across companies, countries. People said I was feeling bored at home. So I'm asking that also. Right? Or I was sad. I was not able to get the necessities, daily necessities, or health and safety of family members, friends. And you may start feeling that it is becoming serious. I
Hmm.
was concerned about possible breakdown of society. I know head of a crisis management of an organization in Abu Dhabi said the one people were calling me when there was a lockdown at that time. There were people were at his employees, his colleagues were at home, almost crying. What will happen to us? Not that they were sick, not that any family member was sick, but looking at across world what was happening. People were worried. See,
It
it's
was.
become
With COVID. I don't know. I won't speak for where you are, but here, COVID was the first story of every news hour.
right.
And the things you kept seeing were pictures of people in the hospitals, or
Right.
funerals, or the lack
Yes.
of thereof funerals.
Yes.
Numbers of, here's how many are infected, here's how many dead. It was depressing, really, to see all that information every
Yes.
hour on the hour.
Yes. I can share an example, Alex. Well, it's not good. Any country, we know there have been cases. We attempt to find out some connections. If is whether my son or daughter or brother or sister is looking for a job, I attempt to find Alex. Do you know someone? Or I know Alex. Alex, can you get him into your organization? We attempt to find connections. Right?
Hmm.
It became bad. Almost all countries, infrastructure was not there. Any country. Right? So because number of patients increased all of a sudden, right? Hospital beds not available, ICU beds not available, oxygen not available. So everyone is, or some medicines not available. So everyone was attempting to find connections.
Hmm.
One request came in a group. So not to me personally, but in a group, posted in a group. Do you know someone at crematorium? Because someone is about to die. Doctors have declared, you please find where you can get him or her cremated. And there was long queues, there was not infrastructure in crematoriums also. So it reaches up to that extent that you are attempting to find connections even for cremations. And then think of emotions. Then think of what is happening to the family members.
Yeah.
And then when again, if we understand in India, especially in Hindu religion, a body is burned. That's what the cremation is, right? Long queues, even to get done. And then you cannot go because of COVID-19. That person was infected. It could go to you. You were not allowed to be at the cremation.
Hmm.
Now think of emotions. Now think of emotions. So that's very serious point. The last one question on this slide. I was angry and irritable. This is once again a cycle of emotions. People those understand this topic will get this easily. I may not, or I might not have expressed it, but looking at what is happening around, again, me, family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, society as a whole, I could be going through these. So we are attempting to find that. Based on that, we may be able to make some judgments. When we analyze the data, I'm not sure as of now what comes out of it.
Hmm.
Look at, as I said, it's becoming serious as we go forward. I was feeling lost. I was feeling guilty of not being able to help the needy. I thought, I'm taking my personal example. I thought I could help. I was lucky, happy, healthy. But if I was not able to, my brother, his live example once again, and this is the worst example that we could have seen in lives. My brother, all four members of family, they got impacted. And then I was taking care of them. But what? I'm going to my brother's house, but I'm not entering his house.
Hmm.
Never in life it would have happened with us. I was just supplying medicines and daily needs. Go, keep it outside, knock the door, and run away with masks and PPE kits, etc. I wore PPE kit, a full PPE kit also while taking care of them. And then those emotions. I'm going to meet my brother, but I'm not going into his house. Never in life it would have happened. And this, what was going inside me, no one has asked. I have not shared with anyone. Perhaps this has not come in any study yet. So it's
Hmm.
such type of questions. This is the last one. Maybe some breakups also have happened or are on the verge of happening. COVID-19 is not over yet. Its impacts are not over yet. I was physically challenged. I shared last time because I kept sitting, working extra long hours. Another another example has happened in the family. My brother also, and that serious pain in his leg as of now seems because of sitting extra long hours on not so good infrastructure at home.
Hmm.
So company just Daman go and work from home, but what is happening at home? Companies were not bothered. That's bad statement. They didn't have chance also. in the beginning. But now 18 months gone, it is the right time, little delayed also. We need to assess this impact on people's life. That those such type of questions to answer your question have taken a long time in my survey, but in a real emotional assessment happening in an organization, in a corporate, not known to me yet. I'll be happy to come back in a month and then share what comes out of this, and maybe that'll be again a lead to organizations to conduct the emotional impact assessment that we have been talking about today.
Well,
So,
hopefully we can have a part two or a future, uh, a session to say, okay, we talked about an EIA up front. Now here's what we found out about running a
I'll be happy to.
non-scientific
Yeah,
survey, and these are some of the findings that we've have come out of it. Because I think to your point, with COVID, it's not over. It doesn't matter if many people around the world are getting vaccinated right now, and there seems to be millions and millions of vaccines being donated to other
yeah,
countries that need them now. But I think we're months, if not a couple of years away, before we really know what the emotional toll is going to be. We
right,
we may be able to find out what a financial toll is right now.
right.
We lost 50% of our business. Okay, that's fine. What about your people?
Yeah,
Well, we don't know. And I think that's going to be interesting as we go down this road.
right. Yes, and I'll be happy to come back with
Oh
my
yeah.
findings.
Well, okay, I'm going to hold you to it. We've come to the end of our second segment. We are talking today with Daman Sood about emotional impact assessments. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are talking with Daman Sood today about emotional impact assessments. Daman, lots of great information and thoughts so far. Uh, I've got a question. What are the potential challenges and issues with performing an EIA? And part two of that question, can an EIA be seen as an employee evaluation exercise? Where people
Thank
might
you.
be afraid to give answers, thinking that there might be some sort of an impact to them or their role or
Yes, very important question, Alex, and it's a serious question also. We have been saying it's all over people. We are doing emotional impact assessment for people, but people are the biggest challenge also. And this is human nature. The way it has happened in the past, things are improving, no doubt about that. In the past, anyone seeking counseling would tend to be away from him or her. There's something wrong here. The man is seeking counseling, that means there is something wrong here. This is
Mhm.
the biggest challenge. The moment you start talking of emotions, people wouldn't be open to, right? Because that was the perception. It is changing. We know more and more people are seeking counseling sessions now. So this is the biggest issue according to me. People may not like to admit that they are stressed, even if they are. We know it happened, especially the beginning of COVID-19 pandemic. The moment the month would be found positive, people, the neighborhood, would tend to run away from Daman and his family and his house. That
Mhm.
he is going to do it to us, right?
Yeah,
And we are human beings. We learned a lot that it doesn't spread like that. We could
because
still be taken care of.
yeah.
Now we are getting cured at home also. We were not even going to hospital. Yes, sorry.
Well, I was just to say because we don't fully understand something, so
Yes,
right away we flee. We get away with it. Get away from it. I should say. If Daman has a problem, and it in the office, and oh, Daman has a problem. Oh, well, then
yes,
people kind of shy away because they don't know
yes.
what's going on.
We should happen even that, if someone was having problems with kids or wife, right? Whether divorce or breakup or whichever way, girlfriend, boyfriend, generally people will be moving away from that person,
Yeah.
looking differently at him or her. This is human nature. This is the challenge. So
Mhm.
if I understand this could be the challenge, I may be stressed, but I may not admit that I'm stressed. This could be the biggest challenge in emotional impact assessment. Even if you, my employer, attempt to do this, the results may be skewed because of such reasons. I'm stressed, but my answer will be I'm not
Mm.
stressed.
That reminds me, years ago with the BIA, there was talk for a very short time. I noticed it disappeared almost as quick as it appeared on the scene, where people were starting to say, "Oh, we could also use the BIA to clarify people roles, whether they, we need to change roles or change people." And I didn't agree with it at all, and I think a lot of people didn't, because that would have been so much pushback on the BIA. Any result that came out of it would have been so skewed that they would have been no benefit to anybody.
Yes,
So I think that's to your point here as well, that people may have that same perception if it's not done properly,
exactly.
by the right people.
Which is the second portion of your question. It may be taken as employee evaluation exercise. People may think so, right?
Mhm.
And people may step back. It may happen like that. To come out of this, then the key is communication. We have been saying that throughout our life, communication is important during BAU, business as usual, and communication is important in crises also, much more important in crisis. So people need to be taken into confidence through communication. And I'm going to next step also, that this awareness, why are we doing this assessment? This needs to be taken even up to the families, so that they encourage those employees who are working in the corporates, that they be honest in responding to those questions when those such questions are being asked. So awareness in the office, I'm saying it needs to be taken to the next step also, because family may be discouraging. If I discuss, many people may not even discuss that my company has asked such questions, is asking such questions. And if I admit, even family, because they also have been in the same society, oh, this is something related to.
Mhm. So would
So,
you suggest that a person is answering for themselves and their family, or the the employee is responding and they get their immediate family members, their spouse, or children, to also respond?
so we are doing this at corporate level, emotional impact assessment corporate level. They may be, I'm saying, if there are 10 questions, maybe 7, 8 are with respect to employee in the office. There may be one, two, three questions with respect to family also.
Oh, I
So
see. I
family
see.
may not be responding, it's still me responding, but from that point of view, or on behalf of family as well.
My emotion in the office and my emotional well-being
Would be
out of the
different.
office.
And we know people
Okay.
are different, including me also. My family would say, you are different outside the home and you are different in home. We
Yeah,
know,
my friends and family would say the same. I know they would.
right? So what I'm saying is awareness level up to family. This is organization will be doing, including family, raising awareness. This type of exercise is happening for these reasons. So that when family members also have understood, they encourage their spouses, whoever is working in the corporate, to open up in these surveys or analysis exercise that is being.
Hmm.
Communication is the key.
Yeah. So let's jump ahead, that we've done our survey, we've answered all our questions. What would be the next steps? What would you suggest, or what do you have in mind for presenting the findings, and what actions come out of those findings?
Very, very fluid thought process around that also as of now, Alex. One simple sentence is that once it is known, whatever comes out of that, that whether people were, it may say, assume 70% people would say that they were stressed. That's a good number, 70% that they were stressed. So then what? Employer has to think. Stress, working from home. That's the example we are taking currently. Crisis could be a different crisis also, not necessarily only COVID-19 pandemic, and due to which we had been working from home. But this is one good example in hand. Longest running, long, most impacting survey that we might have, it's not survey, most impacting crisis that we might have seen in our lives. Most of us, I would say. Maybe there's some wise men, women in the world who would say, no, we saw that 100 years ago also, the when we saw
Mhm.
Spanish flu also. There may be some, right? So based on that, organizations will be able to take informed decisions. That's the outcome, according to me, out of this. And in this decision, people would have been involved, so people will be happy. A happy employee is always a good employee. His, her quality as well as quantity will improve. What kind type format of the report would be, that's not understood yet. Would be presented to the decision makers for sure. So top management or executive committee, board, we can use two, three different names. They will be able to use this to look at their mental health also. I think May was World Mental Health Awareness or Preparedness Month also across globe. I didn't know till last year. I realized this year only, which tells there is something in this field, in this area, and we have been doing also. The world had been. I didn't know. I'm admitting. I realized this year only. One full month every year is devoted to mental health or care or awareness.
Mhm.
So we'll be able to contribute to that also. Based on that, we may be able to take decisions whether, in this case, work from home is right or wrong, whether we continue work from home forever, or whether we will do 30/70, 50/50, 40/60 hybrid model. Who would be happy working at home? Who would be happy working in office? In
Well,
last 8 months, we
that could
just
be
did.
one of the questions too,
Yes.
or something along that lines. So you can actually map that back. People in the office are more stressed than people at home, or vice versa. You know,
We discussed this last time. If you recollect, a culture of they and us is being created.
yes,
Alex is
yes.
working from home. He is with family. He is lucky. Daman has to go to office, work from there, while office was dangerous place. That's why we locked down the office and we asked people to work from home, which means Daman is unlucky and Daman is stressed. Now he is lucky. He is better than me.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we would be able to say, based on this analysis, Daman, you said you would be happy working at home, in office. So that's why now you are in office. While work also demands, because every work cannot be done from home. Also, we understand,
Hmm.
right? But Daman, on top of that, it was your choice. You were involved, you were asked, and you have said.
I
I
like.
also said one
Go ahead.
point,
Go ahead.
which, very easy to say work from home. Everyone did that, but there have been compromises, unsaid compromises. We are not admitting both customers and vendors. The arrangements of physical and information security that we have in office cannot be at home. Cannot be. Whoever is saying, okay, we are just being blind, we are just closing our eyes. Ask them if the money is willing. Yes, there are people also. Someone shared with me in UK when UK is starting to open up, people are getting this feeling. Again, this is emotion that we are being forced to go to office. Some people
Mhm.
have started
Yeah.
liking work from home for XYZ reasons. Some people have started liking work from home. So some feeling coming from UK is that we are being forced to go back to office. All these will be taken care of. The one you said, whether office or home, along with work type of work that we do also. These will be the outcomes. This is how the assessment report or results could be utilized in the organization, taking
It,
informed decisions.
I think another thing that might help too, depending on what the decision makers want to do with this, but if some of that information, the findings, is shared with employees, maybe not specific details on some levels, but
Yes.
the basics, 60% feel stressed, that might actually help employees realize. And when I say employees, I also mean the C-level people, management, middle management, everybody, because employee is everybody, not just people without a title, but might see that, hey, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one experiencing this. And
Yes.
might then feel a little bit more empowered, shall I say, to
Exactly.
speak up and offer suggestions on,
Yes.
what the organizational leadership can do to reduce that stress level.
We discussed this point during our course also. What does open door policy mean?
Oh, yeah.
right? That I'm encouraged, first time I'm encouraged to speak, and then you as CEO are listening to what I'm speaking.
Yeah.
And then if we are making sense, then it is considered, explored, and acted upon also. So yes, exactly in line with what you said. Also, this report, this assessment may help organizations to augment few other arrangements. There were times there would be a doctor. There is a medical room in the office. Doctor comes on a fixed day once a week for fixed couple of hours, which means I should fall sick during on that day during those hours only. But
Hmm.
things kept improving. Now we have dedicated room, doctor, nurse, either 24 hours or as it is required, depending on the working hours of the company. Things have improved and keep improving, right? But one nurse, someone said we have counselors also. That counseling in the past, there would be one person in if with the big question mark in HR department, the day those results are announced, which results? Annual appraisal results. Someone gets less, someone gets more, someone gets promotion, someone doesn't get, and then there are hard ones, and some people would need counseling.
Hmm.
That counseling was there. This is more than that we are talking of today. And then in last, again, I'm admitting some people have said, no, Daman, we arrange counseling sessions. Counselors were available people. They could call, they could speak. Good. But then if, as you said, 70% are saying we were stressed, then the organization may come to know that one or two or three counselors were not enough. We need to have 20 or 30 counselors.
Hmm.
So this is how this report, this assessment may be helpful in augmenting arrangements, improving upon arrangements that we have in offices.
Something I just wanted to add to that, I interviewed somebody from the British Standards
All right.
Institute, Kate Field, and she said that a lot of organizations think they can fix morale or stress with what did she call it? Yogurt and yoga.
Okay.
You know, you give them put yogurt in the fridge. You know, makes everyone happy. Give some free yoga classes, makes everybody happy. But that's really just whitewashing things. But doing it, I think doing an EIA will go below that and give a better understanding of where people stand.
I believe so. Yes. Very important according to me.
Mhm.
Very important. We have done a lot in last 18 months. This is the next step. Already delayed to an extent, I would say. So yesterday was the best time. Today is the next best time. We must start.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show. We've only got a couple of minutes left. Do you have any final thoughts on the emotional impact assessment?
I would. Yes. I have moved from a BCM to organizational resilience. We have said resilient people make resilient organizations. So this emotional impact assessment will help us to be more resilient. I would know about myself. I would understand. It will help me also to understand myself a little more. When some such questions come in front of me, and if I honestly answer those questions, then organization will understand me. I will understand myself more. We improve upon some arrangements, so we'll be more resilient. To me, this is directly in line with being a resilient, which is the need of the hour. Any organization, anywhere in the world, and to support my views, work from home has more challenges than it resolves. Um, to me, it should be a temporary solution. That's what I'll say repeatedly. We need to work on this assessment, emotional impact assessment. This is different from EIA of ISO 14001. I'm repeating. This is where we started from because this is very important to understand. EIA, environment impact assessment of ISO 14001 when the process is running.
Mhm.
BCMBIA, impact assessment when the process has gone down. It's not running. Then what is the impact on the organization? Emotional impact assessment is perhaps next line when we have invoked BCM. After a disaster or crisis, I'm in recovery mode. Something bad has happened around me. One sick, five sick, 56, one dead, 50,000. across globe, millions dead. That assessment, assessment of that impact on me. This is what emotional impact assessment is.
Yeah, if every organization says that people are the key, well, then we've got to look at that key, and make
Exactly. We
sure
need to look at
that
that
it's
key. Yes.
addressed. Yeah. Well, Daman, we've come to the end of the show. Thank you very much again. And
Thank you.
when you run your survey, in a couple of weeks from now, it would be interesting at some point down the road to find out what kind of results you got.
I'll be happy to come back.
Even if it's just a short one, it would be really interesting to
I'll be happy
find
to
out
come back.
what comes out of that.
Yeah.
So thank you
I'll
once
come.
again. I really appreciate your expertise and time and your examples and your thinking. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Alex.
And to everybody watching and listening, stay prepared, everybody.
Thank you.
If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave a message and let me know what your thoughts are. If you'd like to be a guest on the show to talk about something related to business continuity, disaster management, COVID, personal well-being, anything that's relatable to those subjects, you can reach me through my LinkedIn profile, which is in the video description. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. In the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.